Hey everybody, welcome back to the next edition of Beyond the Page. And we are going to be talking today about my 10 favorite television shows. Now, I have not ranked these because I love these shows so much for different reasons, and it's really hard to rank them. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to give you my 10 favorite shows and tell you what I love about them, and we'll move on from there. So I do have an honorable mention as well that we're going to start out talking about. So if you have snacks or drinks that you want to get, pause the video, come back, and be ready to have your snacks because we're going to dive right into this list, okay? So, the first one, the honorable mention, is kind of a cheat because I'm lumping this into like a category of shows, and that would be the shows that span the world of Westeros. So, we're talking Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and recently, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. All of those are written by George R. R. Martin, of course, and we know that he hasn't finished the series, but I still love the shows. Even Game of Thrones, yes, I love Game of Thrones. Even though the ending was a little bit lackluster, I still enjoyed it overall. And I love House of the Dragon. I think it's an absolutely amazing show. And I really enjoyed A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And it's a little bit something different for Westeros and for HBO. So I like it and I want to see more. It deserves an honorable mention. So we're going to move on to the top 10 list now. The first one on this list is Lost. I absolutely love Lost. I have seen it 3 times. I will probably watch it 3 more times in my lifetime, at least. I love the show that much. And yes, there were a lot of people that didn't like the flash sideways or forward or however it happened, the time that they were away from the island and all the confusion that went on there. I liked all of it. And I am always ready to go back and watch that show. It just had something magical in it that keeps you coming back to it. The character work is phenomenal. That's really what you go to that series for, is the character work, and also the mystery. The mysteries that you find out about the island and who's in charge and how that all works. I just absolutely love Lost. And if you love Lost as much as I do, let me know in the comments below. I am officially a Lostie, as we are called, and I always will be. So if you have not watched Lost, I highly recommend it. Alright, so the next one on this list is Seinfeld. And of course, that is the long running television series featuring the comedic moments of Jerry Seinfeld, where he and his friends talk about nothing in every episode. And it's not really totally nothing, right? There are plot lines to the shows, but it basically boils down to nothing of really any major importance. And that's really what makes the show adorable, and that's what makes it an instant classic, and I think it always will be. There's just something completely unique about that show that nobody's been able to recapture. Got 9 seasons and just so many antics. Kramer is one of my favorite characters in the show, and he makes me laugh out loud every time. Jerry's funny too, and so is Elaine and George, but I don't know, there's something about Kramer for me. And there's special episodes. The Soup Nazi episode, and the episode where they have their Festivus celebration, and there's just so many good ones. It's hard to pin it down to which episodes are my favorite. I mean, it is 9 seasons, and most of those seasons are like 15, 20 episodes. So, back when television was longer seasons, uh, Seinfeld is just great. I absolutely love it, and I would watch it over and over again. Sometimes that's one show that I sometimes just put on in the background if I want to tune out and do other things while I'm listening to a show that I love. I'll put on Seinfeld because all of the episodes are pretty rewatchable, and you don't have to start from the beginning if you're rewatching it. You can just pick an episode and have a good laugh. It's great. So we're moving on to I Love Lucy. And who doesn't love Lucy? I mean, that show is just absolutely great. I love the on screen chemistry between Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, and Fred and Ethel Mertz as well. Their characters just there was so much good going on the show. Even though I know there was a lot of tension behind the scenes, the characters that played the Mertzes practically hated each other, but it was a great show. And just whenever I think back to my favorite comedies, I Love Lucy is absolutely one of those. I was thinking the other day about great comedians, and it's just Lucille Ball is one of the greats. They don't make them like her anymore. So uh, I just always had a blast watching that show and hearing Ricky walk in the door and yell, "Lucy, you got some explaining to do." Just you knew Lucy was in trouble. She'd done something that just really rubbed Ricky the wrong way, and so great show. Always loved that one. All right, so we're moving on to Battlestar Galactica. Now I'm talking the new Battlestar Galactica, the reimagining of it that came out in the early 2000s. That show is just magnificent. I did see the original Battlestar Galactica as a kid with my dad, or parts of it anyway. I don't think I ever saw the full thing, but what I saw was okay. But the new Battlestar Galactica just had everything I wanted in it. It had great characterization, epic space battles, some of the best dramatic tension I've seen on screen in a long time. It just had everything that I wanted, and I absolutely loved the gender swap for Starbuck. I thought she was just an absolutely amazing character, and wow, that show just absolutely wowed me. So, of my favorite sci fi television shows, that definitely ranks high up there. And so that's on my list of favorite television shows now. All right, Looney Tunes. Everybody loves Looney Tunes. I don't know anyone who doesn't like at least some of the episodes of Looney Tunes. Maybe not all of them, and maybe some characters were better than others, and Bugs Bunny is always a classic, and Daffy Duck and Porky Pig. Porky's not my favorite, but I liked him well enough. And Sylvester the Cat and Tweety Bird. Tweety Bird is awesome, and Grandma is awesome. I just absolutely love that show. Now, of course, some of the humor has not aged well in some respects, but overall, I think it was done really, really well. And so I love me some Looney Tunes, and I hope you do too. They're very rewatchable for the most part, and I love any chance I get to watch some old Looney Tunes cartoons. All right. The Fall of the House of Usher. And this was created by Mike Flanagan for Netflix. And it is kind of a reimagining of the story, The Fall of the House of Usher, from Edgar Allan Poe, because it features the core elements of that story, but it's kind of an anthology because each family member experiences a different tale from Edgar Allan Poe. So there's different Edgar Allan Poe stories that are woven together into this television series, with the Usher family at the head of all the stories. It's just fantastically done. I absolutely loved it. I would totally rewatch it. I want to rewatch it, and I think they just did an absolute bang up job. So kudos to Mike Flanagan for pulling that off. I will literally watch anything that Mike Flanagan has done. I will, including the next one on this list. Yes, I have two from him on this list, and that is The Haunting of Hill House. And I have rewatched that one, and I would rewatch it again. I just absolutely loved everything about that show. I did make the mistake of reading the book after watching the show, and I say it was a mistake because I think it kind of gave me colored lenses for reading the book because I did not like the book. I knew it wasn't going to be like the show. I knew they took a lot of liberties, but I didn't realize how paltry the book is compared to the show. So I did not enjoy the book. I much prefer the show in this regard. It is a fantastic piece of horror cinema. It really is. If you have not watched The Haunting of Hill House, you are missing out. And feel free to tell me in the comments that I should have liked the book. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but I don't like the book. I prefer the show. So, anyway, there we go. We're moving on to Sherlock Holmes. And this is a very specific Sherlock Holmes television series. Came out in the 90s featuring Jeremy Brett as the title role in the role of Sherlock Holmes. And Edward Hardwicke, I forget if he was the one that replaced the original, or maybe if Edward Hardwicke was the original Watson. But anyway, the actor for Watson got replaced a couple of seasons in. I'm not sure if it was schedule conflicts or whatever, but oh man, that show is the quintessential portrayal of Sherlock Holmes. I can't get enough of that show. I absolutely love it so much. I have rewatched it. I introduced my kids to it. It was an absolutely fantastic watch on the second time around. And I just love everything about his performance as Sherlock Holmes. There is nobody else that can be Sherlock Holmes for me. Or at least do it that good. I do very much enjoy Benedict Cumberbatch's turn in the show Sherlock. I'll probably watch the new Young Sherlock show that's coming out, I think, on Amazon Prime, maybe. I just will never love a Sherlock Holmes story as much as I love the one with Jeremy Brett. So, absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend watching the Sherlock Holmes series put out by Granada Television. You can find it on DVD. It's also on BritBox. Go check it out. It's worth your time. And then we're going to move on to Castlevania on Netflix. And I'm lumping these two together, but they are separate series. There's Castlevania and then Castlevania Nocturne. And it follows the Belmont family of vampire hunters. And so the first series has Trevor Belmont as the lead character, and that show got 4 seasons. And then Castlevania Nocturne features Richter Belmont as the title role, and he is a descendant, of course, in the line of Belmonts. And both series were absolutely magnificent. And one of my favorite characters of all time is Alucard, and he is the half-human son of Dracula, and he is actually an ally. He's a protagonist. And oh man, some of those storylines just came straight out of the game, and I thought it was fantastically done. I'm a huge Castlevania fan. I've been a fan of that franchise from the very first time I played the original Castlevania on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yes, I'm dating myself. I know. That's how old I am. I played the original Castlevania on the original gaming console that came out in the United States. Well, it's not the original gaming console. I know we had Atari and stuff like that, but It was the original that I think made a really big hit with players all over the world. Nintendo just had a special kind of magic. So, anyway, I got off on a tangent there. Castlevania is a fantastic television series. It is animated, and so many people say they don't like animated shows. I'm like, why? What's not to like about animation? I just don't get it, but whatever. You're entitled to your opinion, even though it's wrong. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I like animation, and Castlevania, chef's kiss. It is amazing. All right. And so the last one on this list is Black Sails. This show got 4 seasons. Absolutely amazing. It is a prequel to Treasure Island. So if you've read Treasure Island or you've seen movies of Treasure Island, there's a plethora of movies out there about it. You kind of know the story, but this is a prequel. So instead of following Long John Silver, we are following the captain that he served under, Captain Flint. And I just want to warn you, I'm going to put this warning out there. This is not your grandparents' Treasure Island, okay? This is Treasure Island meets Game of Thrones. But it is magnificent. It is a masterpiece of television history. And I thought it was expertly pulled off. You get to meet some of the classic Treasure Island characters, but also you meet pirates that actually really existed in the real world at that time in the show as well. And I just absolutely had a blast watching that show. Toby Stephens plays Captain Flint, and he does a wonderful job. He's such a brilliant actor. And just as a side note, here we go on a tangent again. I didn't find this out until after Maggie Smith died, but he is actually Maggie Smith's son. And once you find that out, you can never unsee it because he looks almost just like his mom. And the apple didn't fall far from the tree either because he got her acting talent. But yeah, Maggie Smith was amazing, and she created an amazing child. He's a fantastic actor, and he just kills the role of Captain Flint. It was brilliantly done. We do get to see Long John Silver in the show before he got the Long John moniker and before he lost a leg. So we see his beginnings as a fledgling pirate, and it's great. It's such a wonderful series, and I can't say enough good about it. But yes, there is a lot of sex, there's a lot of nudity, plenty of pirate language, so keep that in mind when you watch it. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me, but it might bother you. But it is such a great show. And it's a completed show. They ended on a great note, I thought. And it's one I would definitely watch again, and I plan to watch again. So, that is the end of my list. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite TV series are. I would love to have a chat with you. Maybe I'll find out about some new series that I'm not aware of that I can put on my list to watch. I think that would be a lot of fun. So talk with me in the comments below. And until next time, make sure you're watching some great television shows and reading some good books. Oh, and if you want to watch more of my content, here's some ideas on the end screen.